Good morning, everyone, and happy Monday. My name is Tony Butler. I'm one of the life sales directors here with Insurance Agency Marketing Services. And with me, I have Carolyn Blumhagen and Kip Walker. Carolyn is Senior Underwriter with Mutual Trust Life Solutions, and Kip is the Regional Vice President. Um, and today, what we're going to be talking about, because this is coming up quite a bit, the life insurance business has been extremely busy over the last year and a half, if not 2 years. Um, and underwriting questions come up, whether it's you're doing field underwriting, an application's been submitted, setting the expectation with the client either before, during, or even after it's been issued. So we felt the need to actually discuss this from an educational standpoint. So it kind of helps you, arms you with some information to help you get more cases placed. Because at the end of the day, we can do applications all day, but no one makes any money or coverage is not granted to those individuals unless uh, we go through the underwriting process, and part of the process is being armed with the information that we need to set that expectation for the clients. So with that, I want to get started, but before we do, a couple of housekeeping items that I want to bring to everyone's attention. If you are familiar with IMES, we love for our advisors to make additional monies in addition to the money that you earn on the commissions that are paid on the business that you submit. So here's a few ways that you can do that. One of which is our new producers builders. As you see, we have 5 different levels. So depending on your production, there are additional perks, if you will, that's available to you. If you have any questions in regards to that, definitely reach out to us. Any one of our sales directors can provide you with more information on what all this entails. But as you see, you can get anything from mailing pieces to um, additional marketing assistance, and then we even have a Ritz-Carlton package available to you. So again, if you have any additional questions, please feel free to reach out to us. Be more than happy to answer those questions. We also have our IMES Business Builder, and this is a referral program that we have for our advisors. So any agent that you refer to us and they get appointed with any of the carriers that we work with, we do provide you with a $50 bonus for that referral as a thank you. Any additional business or subsequent business that they do write, we do provide you with additional spiffs on that as well, depending on the type of business that is written. Again, if you have questions on that, more than happy to discuss that with you. We also offer back office support for all of our advisors. What we want you to do is work smarter, not harder. So what that entails is we're going to be working with you from submission to commission. So whether it's business building tools that you need, uh, submission or commission support, life or annuity quotes, paperless contracting, all that is available to you. Our website is a 24/7 website, a lot of sales tools and a lot of product information, as well as marketing information for our advisors. If you're a life agent, you do have the ability to run both guaranteed universal life quotes through our website as well as term quote comparisons. We do have annuity and long-term care grid. Um, Electronic applications are the way of the future, and a lot of agents, even the old school agents, are doing electronic applications now. Um, COVID has taught us anything, it is to be more flexible in how we do our business, how we pivot our business as far as getting those applications submitted. So we have a couple of platforms that we offer for our advisors. Now, if you're an annuity agent, Firelight is there and it's available for you through our platform. As you can see here, list all the carriers that we work with through the Firelight platform. There are some life carriers that are on the Firelight platform. But from a life insurance perspective, let me get to that. That is going to be on our e-app. It looks like they took that away from me. So um, let me go back. I apologize. So iGo eApp Solutions is available for our life producers. Now, the iGo eApp platform is through the IMES website. If you haven't registered for the website, you need to get registered to the website or to either one of those platforms. Please feel free to give us a call. Be more than happy to walk you through that process. All right. We also have Creative Marketing Solutions Department. Our creative department does an excellent job in helping you come up with ideas, strategies as far as building your business. What we like to do is do what's called a marketing analysis, where we will sit down with you, discuss with you your business in terms of what you've been doing, what you're looking to do, and whether it's a turnkey agency or digital solution. We do have an answer for you in that regard. So whether it's professionally written handouts, flyers, business cards, logo designs, if you're looking to get in the digital marketing space, um, we can assist with that. If you would be interested in having a marketing analysis done, please reach out to your sales director, whether it's on the annuity side or the life side. We'd be more than happy to sit down and go over what's available for you. We also offer a retirement analyzer for our advisors. It is free for some advisors. Production requirement is needed for that. What this allows you to do is answer questions from your clients in regards to how it would affect my family if I were to die prematurely. What are the possible solutions if my situation changes? Can I continue my present standard of living into my retirement years? The retirement analyzer does help in that regards. We can definitely walk you through that and offer that for you as well. We also have our IMES wealth management team for those advisors that have um, high net worth clients. We have found that it has helped you increase your revenue, improve client retention, and strengthen relationships with those clients. I would say if that is something that you're looking to pivot your business into for those higher net worth clients, feel free to reach out to Charles Jr. and his group. They'd be more than happy to let you know what they can do for you. And finally, our Life and Annuity Academy. I won't say that COVID is in our rear view, but there during the COVID years, we weren't able to do these, and we just started doing these last year. We try to do one a quarter, and we do have one coming up in April. And if you're not familiar with Dimes in our Life and Annuity Academy, we do offer a 2-day sales training that is free of charge to our advisors. We pay for travel, lodging, food, and as you see here, um, there's a lot of things that's offered in the Life and Annuity Academy. We do have one, as I said, that's going to be coming up in April. That is going to be sponsored by Athene. And as you see here, some of the featured topics we're going to be talking about macro tax planning, brand better with Dimes Creative. There's also advanced annuity sales strategies, producer sales ideas that we're going to be touching upon along with some other things. And if you are interested in the Academy, I do have a polling question that I would like for you to answer so we can get back to you in regards to that. So let me launch that polling question so you can respond to that and definitely get information out to you. I'll leave that up for about a minute or so. I'm seeing that there are quite a few that are responding. All right. Okay. Close that down. We also have our I'm Seaside Sanctuary trip. That trip dates are April 14th, 2024 through April 18th, 2024. As you see here, qualification is, there's an 18-month qualification period. 4.5 million points are needed to qualify. Um, I will say this, we do have a few agents that have already qualified for this. There is a top 20 trip extension to this, where you do get to go to Charleston Place, which is historical downtown Charleston. That is going to be from 4/18 to 4/20. If you want additional information in regards to our Seaside Sanctuary trip, or you want to know where you rank on this trip, definitely reach out to us, be able to provide you with more information on that. So with that, Carolyn, you there?
I am here. Good morning, everyone.
All right, I'm going to change you to our presenter. Let me know when you've got this. You should have this now.
All right, and which screen do we have here?
I'm
Are you able to
seeing
see my
mutual trust, field
presentation
underwriting
here?
best practices.
All right, let's go then. So good morning, everyone. I'm Carolyn Blumhagen. I'm a senior life underwriter at Mutual Trust Life Solutions, and we're going to be talking about some best practices in field underwriting today. So what we're looking at for all of you is going to be what we can do together to get your cases through as quickly as possible. We all know that the longer it takes to get through the underwriting process, the more difficult time you're going to have at the end of the process of getting that case on the books. So in order to reduce the time, we ask that you ask all the questions on the application up front, get the clients prepared to provide those details, and we'll be able to get your applications through faster. We can get your commissions paid to you quicker. And with COVID, we have introduced the e-application process. It is great. We do have a large percentages of agents using this process. Underwriters love it. The field loves it. We've had nothing but positive feedback. So we encourage you to use that platform for application submission. For the application itself, what we're going to be looking at is to prepare the client, again, to provide those details so that we can get through this process as quickly and seamlessly as possible. What we're looking at is having all of those questions answered. If there's anything unusual about the case that you're working on that's outside of income replacement guidelines or the usual business type of policies, we ask that you submit a cover letter and just let us know what's going on so that we can get to a yes answer. We want to say yes to everybody for everything. We just need some additional details to get there sometimes. And then we do have a field underwriting guideline. It is available on our agent's website. We are currently in the process of revising those guidelines, so we'll have some new updated excellent information for everybody pretty soon. We're hoping in the next couple of months to have that completed and to get that out to the field. So for, again, anything that's a little bit out of the normal, someone with complicated medical history, any history of lots of tickets, driving issues, anything like that, the more information that you're able to get from the client up front, we can verify that with the database searches that we order as part of our underwriting process. Quicker we're going to be able to get through, and the less red flags that we have pop up. So for part of the application, we do request the driver's license information, so we'll need to make sure that that's valid, and we do check that again off of the database searches. If there's any conflicting information, we'll have you go back to the client and ask for some additional details. For any physician's information, any doctors they've visited, any medical history they may have, our application does refer to the last 5 years of medical history. For the diagnosis, we're going to want to know the who, what, where, when, and why of all of that. Who is this affecting? What's going on? What kind of treatment they're having? how is that treatment affecting the condition? Is this controlled? Are they going to have some medication changes in the future? Have they been kind of tweaking that medication? All of that information is helpful for the underwriting process. And then if any medical testing, such as a colonoscopy for symptoms or any kind of major surgeries coming up, and they haven't had that completed yet, we'll want to know the results of that. So just hold off on taking an application if that's the case. As soon as the test results are available, as soon as that surgery has been completed and they've been released from care, we can usually take a look at those applicants immediately after. All right, so for our clients, some things that we're unable to consider for coverage is going to be related to driving. Any clients that you have that are under 21, we're not going to be able to look at them if they've had a history of DUI. The younger applicants that are of legal drinking age will still be unable to consider if they've had within the last 1 year a DUI charge. So for multiple DUIs, 3 years since the last DUI is when we'll be able to consider. So in the 4th year after that DUI, if there's been more than one, we can go ahead and consider the client at that time. Anybody who has a currently suspended license, if it is related to moving violations, they're going to have to get that driver's license reinstated to an active status before we'll be able to consider. Now, if someone has a suspended license due to other reasons, other causes, then that's something we still may be able to consider. I would recommend contacting our home office and asking to speak with an underwriter to go over that type of a case before the application is collected. If someone has had their license revoked, those are also clients that aren't going to be able to qualify for coverage. When we're looking at criminal activity for our clients, we're going to hold off on anyone who is on probation or parole. 1 year after they've been cleared, we'll be able to go ahead and consider them. As part of our underwriting process, we would bring a criminal report. So we do need the county and the state where the charges were filed so that we can order that report. And then anybody with 2 or more separate felony convictions are not going to qualify for coverage with us. So now when we get into the medical section of what we're looking at for clients, some of the conditions where we get a lot of calls where we won't be able to consider someone, anybody on oxygen therapy. So that is a little bit more common now since COVID has come into the mix with individuals that require oxygen therapy to help treat their shortness of breath and issues going along with COVID. We also see that often with sleep apnea. Individuals who have sleep apnea, if they're on oxygen therapy in addition to a CPAP or BiPAP, aren't going to qualify. Individuals with chronic obstructive pulmonary disorder, COPD, those individuals on oxygen therapy are going to be uninsurable. Now, for individuals who are pregnant, we can consider individuals who are pregnant up until pregnancy is completed and the mother has given birth. So individuals that we wouldn't be able to consider are individuals who have had prior pregnancies with complications, current pregnancy complications, so preeclampsia, gestational diabetes, things like that. Those are going to be cases where we're asking you to hold off until the postpartum visit is completed. Anybody with quadriplegia, kidney problems, any individual on dialysis for any reason is going to be uninsurable. Individuals with a history of suicide attempts or multiple suicide attempts. I would recommend before submitting an application to, again, contact an underwriter, have a discussion, obtain as much information as you can from the client so that we can kind of have a conversation and see if that's something that we'll be able to consider, If yes, at what rate class the client can expect. So lupus with kidney or brain involvement, those are going to be uninsurable. Now for the AIDS and HIV, we're starting to consider individuals with HIV who reside in California. For all of our other states, we are going to continue to indicate that those individuals are uninsurable. Anybody with Alzheimer's, cancer treatment, many of our individuals with a history of cancer, we can consider immediately after the initial treatment is complete for a risk assessment on cancer history. We recommend that you obtain the staging information for that cancer and then give us a call so we can go over that. Congestive heart failure, alcohol dependency with recent treatment, dementia, and then organ transplant is going to be uninsurable as well. Now, when we get into individuals that we are able to consider, some that are going to require an APS off the bat, just make sure that we have that physician information on file, excuse me, at least the physician's name and telephone number. We can usually obtain an APS with just that information. If we have to mail a requirement in, such as the HIPAA authorization to the physician's office, if we at least have their phone number, we'll be able to get their fax number or their address. So if we can have that information, we'll be able to get medical records for some of these conditions here. So again, COPD is on this list. We just wouldn't be able to indicate, get coverage for someone who is on oxygen with COPD. Other treatments, we'll be able most times to make an offer there. Crohn's disease, diabetes type 1. For our type 2 diabetics, we try to move forward without medical records to see if we can get these cases through a little bit quicker. What we're looking at is for an individual to have good control with a hemoglobin A1C value of 6.5 or less. If we have diabetes type 2, 6.5 or less, most times we'll be able to move forward without medical records, as long as there isn't any additional history that would require those records. So the usuals we're probably all used to seeing: heart disease, epilepsy, serious skin cancer like melanoma, MS, multiple sclerosis, rheumatoid arthritis. Those are the type of medical conditions where we're going to require records. And now, as I said, if you do have any questions ever, we are all available for questions. Our offices are open Central Time, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So we always have an underwriter available to go over any questions anybody has, any cases, anything unusual. Basically, anything related to financial underwriting, medical underwriting, we're all available to take your calls and help out any way we can. All right, and with that, we'll open that up to any questions if anybody has anything for me.
Carolyn, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. Yeah, there are several questions. Kip, you're still there, right?
Yeah, yes, I am.
Okay.
And
There was one...
before we go to that, I just want to thank you, Tony, for hosting us today, and thank Carolyn for coming on. She's one of our senior underwriters, as you saw there. And just real quick, Mutual Trust has been around for over 110 years. We're part of Pan American Life Insurance Group, which is based out of New Orleans. It's a mutual company. We have $6 billion in assets, $1 billion in capital and surplus. We have a lot of great traditional whole life products and also some very strong niche sales strategies to help you introduce whole life into your practice. And whole life is a third of the market. So if you haven't used whole life in your practice, it's a great way to find some organic growth. And while this presentation was created by our underwriting team to help advisors with field underwriting, a lot of this does translate to anywhere you're doing business. Hopefully, we obviously want you to do business with us, but a lot of this translates to whatever business you're doing. And so with that, Tony, thanks again, and I'll let you open those questions.
Okay, a couple of things that it did come up prior to and then during the webinar. The one thing that I want to first start off with is risk assessments. You had mentioned that, Carolyn. Just want to let all the advisors know from an IAM standpoint, as far as our life department goes, we can submit those risk assessments for you. So if there are any of your clients that do have adverse health conditions and that you're unsure of, we can definitely assist with that. I would say to reach out to us, speak to a life sales director, so we can get all the pertinent information that's needed to see what's going to be the best fit for the client. Couple of things that always come up, Carolyn, I would love for you to answer, is non-med versus medical. We do get a lot of questions on agents wanting non-meds. Again, this is just from an underwriting perspective, and try to explain that there are non-med products that are out there and available to clients, but there is certain criteria that they would have to meet in regards to that. Can you just kind of give a high level in terms of how that works?
Sure. So we do have a couple of programs. One is for our term product, which is the accelerated underwriting program. This is going to be for individuals aged 19 through 50 who are non-tobacco users who qualify at the preferred and preferred plus classes. You would take the application, complete all of the medical history, and then, pardon me, and then once we receive the application, we'll go ahead and order medical database searches, identification database searches, and as long as everything matches, there's no history that comes up in prescription or lab database, client qualifies at preferred or preferred plus, we'll be able to get that through without medical requirements done by an examiner. Now, the same type of program is available for our whole life products, and that's going to be the telemed underwriting program. This one works a little bit different, but is similar. We include preferred and standard risk. So preferred plus would require full underwriting, but for standard or preferred, we will order the database searches. Pardon me. We will order the database searches, and if the client has labs completed by their physician, if there's something there for us to review and everything meets our guidelines, finances are in good order, prescription database, all of the information match the application, and we don't require medical records, we don't require any, additional detailed information, we can approve those through a non-medical underwriting process as well. So we have a pretty good success rate. We are coming into the point now where we have some individuals who hadn't been seeing their physicians because of COVID pandemic, and there are no labs out there to look for. So, and if there are some labs that we can use to replace the blood and urine that we would have used for full underwriting, we can get those through on a non-medical basis. It's been a fairly successful program, and we're excited to be able to do that and get those cases through very quickly. Most of them are within 4 to 7 business days.
And I would like to point out that's pretty much industry wide in terms of non-med. There's little tweaks here and there depending on the carrier, face amount and such. But again, that's usually kind of how it works from a non-med perspective. I do have a question for a question from someone that I can answer here real quick. How or where do we submit a fact finder sheet? So you can submit that to, as you see here, here are the life sales directors, life marketers, myself, Trina Murray, and Beth Rickliffs. You can submit those to either one of us, or you can submit it to lifemarketing@imsinc.com. And I would say from a standpoint of what you're looking to do, I would submit that request to the life marketing. That way, the entire life department does have eyes on that, and we can get started on that right away. We do have a quote request link on our website that you can utilize to where you can put all the client's information in that. Again, that will go to a life team, and they will be able to submit that risk assessment for you. So here's a question for you, Carolyn. So from a general perspective, as far as asking questions to the clients, what would you say would be the top 3 things that the agent should know from the client?
What the purpose of the coverage is, if there's any medical history, and thinking of a third, but the big 2 are, what's the purpose of the coverage, so that we can, we can get to yes, and then the medical history if we have to order any medical records, and then just having that physician information available so that we can start that process as soon as possible.
Any other questions? I'm taking a look at our questions here, seeing if we have any additional questions. Let's see here. Okay. Diabetes. You said the A1C was less than 6.5?
If we have an individual with type 2 diabetes and their hemoglobin A1C is 6.5 or less, we should be able to get through without ordering any medical records, provided that there is no other medical history out there. So if someone has a history of hypertension and they need 3 medications to control that, in combination with the diabetes, we're likely to order medical records because of the effect diabetes has on the kidneys and hypertension also has on the kidneys. So any comorbid condition like that, we would likely request medical records, but we do our best to not order medical records for that. So despite everybody's beliefs, we don't enjoy ordering medical records. When they come in, they can be a couple hundred. Sometimes we've seen records come in over 1,000 pages. So that's we try to avoid it when we can, and we know it benefits everybody to get through the applications as quick as possible.
So from industry standard, would 6.5 and below be considered diabetes under control?
That would be good control.
Okay.
Yes, that would be good control of diabetes.
Okay. Okay. I'm trying to think of an answer for this next one, and maybe you can help me with this one. How do we keep our clients calm when it takes a little bit longer from an underwriting perspective? Any thoughts? I've got a couple of thoughts, but I'll defer to you first.
Well, I think it's going to depend on exactly what is taking a long time. Generally, it's the medical records that take the longest if they're required. Basically, we're at the mercy of the physician's office. What we generally recommend is if the client would like to contact their physician's office, let them know that this request is out there for their life insurance application, and anything they can do to expedite the request, the patient would appreciate. Many times that will help get the records forwarded sooner. If it's something other than medical records, I would give a call over to your underwriter and just ask them if there's anything that can be done to help expedite whatever evidence or requirement is that's taking the longest and making that process kind of painful. We'd like to get the applications in and out as quick as we can. So if we can all work together to do that, that's ideal. That's the goal.
And I would add to that, I think I know what you said is pretty much all underwriters. They're not just ordering medical records to be difficult. So I would say in
Yeah.
terms of keeping that client calm, I think first and foremost is setting that expectation up front. So if you do have a client that does have some adverse health conditions, let them know that there's a possibility that medical records could be ordered. Couple of things that I've seen to where it has slowed things down based on conversations with our case managers, who, by the way, are excellent at what they do. Um, from a application submission standpoint, if there's labs to be done, where I've seen the holdup is the clients setting that appointment with the pyramid company to get that done. The other delays I see would be in regards to medical records. Carolyn, you touched upon that. Any assistance that the client can help with that would be greatly appreciated. And sometimes, in a lot of cases, it does speed up the process. But I would say, from a setting the expectation standpoint up front, generally helps more often than not. So if there is someone with adverse health conditions, get as much information as you can up front. Um, we can always run it by the carriers, as well as our case managers. They do an excellent job of providing with status updates on that. So if we can do that up front, that helps a lot in terms of the process. Let's see.
Carolyn, along
There
those
was a
lines.
question. There was a
Go ahead.
question. Mutual Trust taking e-apps, and I believe you said that that is yes.
Yes, we are.
Okay. Uh, They're coming in fast and heavy now, Carolyn. Here's another one. Prostate cancer. Removal. Prostate was removed. 0 on the PSA. Is there a waiting period on something like that?
For prostate cancer, we consider right away after
Mhm.
treatment is completed. If an individual is going to be on any oral medication afterwards, we can still consider at that time. Final rate is going to depend on the final pathology from the biopsy, from the excision.
Okay, gotcha. And that's pretty much across the board. I've seen.
Yeah, you'll see that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Oh, I got a long one here. I'm going to try and scroll through. Okay. Type 2 diabetic, A1C around 7. No approval without medical exam. But if history is good, A1C significantly shows 7 and no other medical issues. Standard non-tobacco reasonable expectation, or do they have to have at least A1C 6.5 to be considered? I'll let you go first on that.
So the diabetes rates are going to overall depend on when the client was diagnosed, how long they've had that condition, how long it's had an effect on their organ system. So individuals who have had type 2 diabetes for a shorter duration and have a lower A1C have a better chance at the standard rate class. Individuals who have had diabetes for a longer period and have poorer control are going to end up in the higher rate classes. So it's a moving target. There's a lot of different factors that go into play. So it's possible.
But that's going to be a case by case, correct?
Yes, it'll be a case by case basis.
Right. Okay. And I will say, from dealing with other carriers and underwriters, same answer. All right. Let's see here. Do I have any more? Well, while I'm waiting for additional questions. Got a couple of polling questions want to bring up here real quick since we have a little time. One of the polling questions that I have is, if you'd like more information on the topic that we discussed, let me know. I've got this out there, would get some more information out to you. From a risk assessment standpoint, do have a fact finder that we can provide for you, as well as information on the link to where you can submit your request. So I will leave this up here for a little bit. It looks like there are a few people still responding, so I'll keep this up here for a little bit more. All right, I'll go ahead and close that out. And the next polling question, if there's a client, this kind of dovetails off of what just asked, that you're seeing a need for, and you like for us to reach out to you in regards to having a risk assessment done, go ahead and respond to this polling question. We'll make sure to reach out to you today and obtain some additional information from you and see what we can do from an underwriting standpoint. All right, Carolyn, Kip, doesn't look like we have any additional questions. Any final thoughts?
Just thanks again for hosting us today, and appreciate it. Again, our team, underwriting team, put this presentation together, and it's designed to help everybody do more business and get paid quicker. And so I again thank Carolyn for doing the presentation today, and look forward to working with you again, Tony, in the future.
Yeah, thank you all for having me.
Thank you, Carolyn. So I will close by saying this. The goal here was to just kind of provide additional information as far as setting expectations and answering questions from an underwriting perspective, because ideally you want to get the business placed. As I always say, time kills deals. So what we want to do is make sure that we get enough information up front, so we can set that expectation with the client, be able to provide underwriters with the necessary information. And again, this is in regards to potential issues or adverse issues. Obviously, if you have a client that's in perfect health, that's great. Underwriters love that, but from an adverse health perspective, we want to definitely try and avoid any pitfalls if necessary, or if needed, I should say. So with that, I was going to close on the call, but I see that we have one more question, I think, or it's the same question. Nope, that is it. Lastly, this was just added because if you're familiar with this, we do a newsletter, and we've got our 2023 quarter one newsletter that's going to be out in mailboxes soon. If you haven't received the newsletter in the past, I will say that there is an abundance of information in regards to different sales ideas, sales strategies, things that we've worked with those advisors that do work. Top producers have provided us with some informational tools to help out. Obviously, industry information is in there as well as some product specific carrier information. So if the newsletter is something that you'd be interested in receiving, go ahead and respond to this polling question, and we'll make sure if we don't have that paper copy out to you, we get the digital copy once it is available. So. All right, close that down. So with that, this content and all of the contents is available follow us on our Facebook or LinkedIn. We do have that available for you on both of those platforms as well as on the IAMS website. So I want to thank everybody for attending today's webinar. Carolyn and Kip, thank you guys again for taking time out of your busy Monday schedule to help out with this. We definitely appreciate the partnership that we do have with Mutual Trust. So you guys, thanks again, and hope everyone has a great Monday and an outstanding week.
Thank you.
Thank you.